starting with Wes Sedens, Jamie Dinan, Mike Fascitelli. Mark Lazary is unable to be with us today, and we're going to open it up to all of you for questions. But I just wanted to kind of first start with any comments that you all may have. I think one of the highlights of the offseason was John Horse and Coach Bud being able to put so much of the same team together. And I'm wondering how that affects your outlook for the upcoming season.
Thanks. Welcome, everyone. Look, we were really excited about the team last year. Had a great season. Didn't end quite the way the previous year did, but we feel like we have a championship core, and so we're obviously delighted that the bulk of it's all coming back. Feel great about it.
We'll now get to the room. We just ask, a microphone will be handed to you. We'll start with Eric Name right here. We just ask that you say your name and affiliation just as a reminder. Thanks, everyone.
Eric Name, The Athletic. I'm just curious for you guys, as you embark on this year, you've seen the team transition from trying to get a new arena to now pretty much perennial championship favorites. What does that change for you guys? How does it feel going into each season, kind of with that lens under the team?
I think it makes us really excited to, obviously be part of the team, the organization, and having a key role in the direction. And I think we've tasted a championship, what it takes. We think a really excellent core. And I think what we've really done is asked, John and Bud to really do the best they can do to put the best team forward so we can bring home another championship.
Makes you want to win again.
Yeah.
Jim Ozarski, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. So I guess a natural follow to that is with that comes salaries and navigating those things. And John has always said you've allowed wiggle room there, but being in the tax these last 2 years, and even going forward. So what has that meant to you all to, is it important to have that wiggle room and give that to them? And then I guess going forward, is there a concern about the repeater tax and as you sort of venture into that area?
Well, one of the burdens of having, a very talented and experienced team is the salary expectations are higher. And so we're in the tax. There's 11 of the 30 teams, I think, are in the tax or something like that. So it's not that we're a unique situation for us, but, as a group, we've made a big commitment to deliver championships and do everything that we can on the ownership side to be supportive of, John and Bud and the whole organization. So we're obviously deeply committed to that. We think we've got a very, very special generational talent in the form of Giannis and all the great players around him, Chris, Drew, Brooke, et cetera, et cetera. So we're very committed financially to doing what we can to give ourselves the best chance to win.
Steve McGargy, Associated Press. I was just wondering, the Abu Dhabi trip, what do y'all, as a franchise, what can y'all gain from that? How did y'all end up getting selected as one of the teams to go, and just what that can mean long range for the franchise to have that?
I think it's a huge opportunity for the organization, to be the first NBA games played in the Middle East. I have a lot of friends in the region. I've done a lot of business over there over the years, and I can tell you that the excitement that the region has about us and the Hawks going in there is tremendous. I think it's a great opportunity for our players to get to see a side of the world that they naturally wouldn't see otherwise. So of all of the different activities we've had as an organization, I think without question, this is the thing that the organization has been most excited about. So it's going to be cool. It's a long ways to go, right? It's a 16-hour flight from here, different side of the world. There's obviously lots going on geopolitically in the world, and I can make them a lot more sensitive to that. And for us, it's a great chance for us to show the brand of the Bucks and the NBA, and we feel blessed to be, picked to do it, and we're really excited about it.
And the entire ownership is actually going to be there in attendance as well.
Sure.
More questions. I realize that specifics can't be discussed, but is there confidence that there won't be a work stoppage as this CBA's negotiations go on?
I think that the situation is that obviously the contract's in place right now. I think that it could be opted out here in the middle of the year, and then you'd be in a situation just like the last several where there then be a negotiation next summer. But from my standpoint, I'd be surprised if there's a work stoppage. That's for sure. It wouldn't be in any event. The contract exists for this year in any event. So
I guess along those lines, like sort of looking ahead, because there are new media rights deals and things of that nature. From your chairs, do you look ahead to that? Like when we're talking about taxes and salaries and where things might go, players are extension eligible this year. That may change, that the salary cap may go up. Like, is that part of your calculus as owners or governors of, well, salary like this may, or can you not do that? It has to stay in the present and sort of what's.
I think it's more in the present. I mean, we definitely think about it. You have matrices and everything else, but the real world doesn't work on, your model, so to speak, and it's a competitive marketplace. And so I would say almost every decision you end up making, not all, is mostly determined by, quote, the moment. But we do think of flexibility. We think of where our roster looks like as we look out, every year for the next 5, where the holes are, where the gaps are, where the opportunities are.
I do think the NBA, it's a huge opportunity for the NBA and the individual teams, though. The TV contract coming up, and that's going to spill down to the teams as well as the players.
But it's right now, I think we're still 3 years out for that. And that's like a lifetime in this sport.
Ben Steele, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. You guys aren't just involved with the team, you're involved with the area outside the arena. Just what's the update with like the Bradley Center lot? Any new plans, any updates on what you guys are planning?
We've got a couple of, obviously we really did a lot in a fairly relatively short period of time. And then COVID hit and we had a lot of restructuring, a lot of backup. The arena was closed for a long time, no event. So the hotel is going to open up and that's being built right here. Should open up in the for the playoffs, I'm hopeful. And we got another couple of deals cooking on Bradley Center, another one on the residential site, just to the east of lot 6. And we've been trying to get an office tenant to lead an office building on right where the hotel is on block 6. So, there's a lot going on. We picked up a level of activity that didn't exist because COVID set us back at least a year or two. But I'm hopeful that, certainly 5-10 years from now, the area continues to look very different. West was saying we got here, the area looks dramatically different than it did when we bought the team.
8.5 years ago, this was obviously a dusty field. So it's remarkable what's happened there. And Mike has really been at the vanguard of that. But and there's a handful of things that could have a big impact on us now. But I think, this is clearly a district and it's a place to, live and work and come to Bucks games. So it's made a huge change.
Lance Allen from WTMJ. Wes, you mentioned it right off the bat that when you fall short, obviously there's one of 2 ways you can go. And you guys decided, hey, we're going to stay the course and keep most of the core. Why do you believe in this group? And why didn't you say, oh, we got to make tons of changes just because you didn't win another championship?
Well, it's no surprise. I mean, when you lose a player of Chris's caliber in the middle of the playoffs, that's a big, challenge. And the team did a great job. We got to 7 games against a very good Boston team and unfortunately couldn't get over the hump with it. But I think we all feel that had we had a healthy team, we had a very good chance, to win. And so, the bulk of what we had last year is back this year. There's, Joe, we have Engels, we've had a few new additions, to it, but the core is young and they're, very talented. And if, we're healthy, come next spring, we think we have a really, really good chance to compete and win another one.
And probably more importantly, our coaches do too.
Yeah.
Darius Joshua, CBS 58 here in Milwaukee. Kind of Mike had mentioned as well, obviously COVID sort of shifted the schedule so much for the last couple of years. And then obviously you guys had the extended run to a championship, a welcomed change of the schedule, I'm sure. Kind of how did this offseason kind of reset kind of the flow of things for you all just on your standpoint?
It was a longer off season than last year just because, we weren't playing in June. I think, we had a very, very active gym this summer. We had a lot of players that stuck around. And so the activity in the area has been really, really significant. People are very, very committed to it. Giannis obviously just got back recently from an extended run over in Europe. We had a very successful tournament. They didn't end up winning, but he played great and came back, most importantly, healthy. I'm sure he's a little tired right now. You can ask him about that. But, we're really excited, training camp opening tomorrow. first game is next Saturday, I guess, right? So it comes out kind of fast and furious, and then we're off to Abu Dhabi, and then shortly after that we open, against Philadelphia. So it has been a good summer in terms of health and wellness and getting guys back, and I think the people are really raring to go now. Get back in the
A
season.
lot of our players have been working out really hard with our staff here, and we send staff there. So it's been really an active off season.
Eric Name, The Athletic. I'm curious for you guys. John was someone that was here with the organization before you guys took over. Bud is obviously someone you brought in. What have you kind of learned about those two guys leading the franchise over the last 5 years or so?
That's a really good question. John, was the choice we made internally. He was an obviously talented, obviously hardworking, obviously very intelligent, and pretty unproven, guy. And I feel like we bet on a young player effectively, and it really worked out. And I think he's, without question, one of the top GMs in the league, and we're very, very happy with that. Bud was a very, very different presence than Jason was, and so that's our total experience as owners. I mean, the one thing I really learned from Bud is that he really believes in a style of play, and you can watch his teams and how they perform, and that was a change, I think, and as a result, the personnel that you pick for that, the people you attract, then fit that style of play, so it becomes a very logical thing to see. Obviously, you need to make the right choices, and then they have to perform.